Get those nerds!
Welcome to Bit Nerds, everyone! Your daily nerd out of the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. I am here with my partner, Michael Deeb. My name is John Polnik. We record the show every day from the Las Vegas Container Park in downtown Las Vegas. Michael Deeb is in San Francisco. All right, let's get to the show. If you are new to the show, if you're new, hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. What we do is we find that most interesting car. We have a big old conversation about it, and then we make a prediction as to what will happen with the results of today's car's auction, and you can play along. It's like The Price is Right, but instead of trying to figure out how much a washer or dryer is worth, we try to guess what a really cool or at least interesting car is worth. What will happen with that car's auction results will reconcile our predictions with the actual results at the end of this episode. So you can play along in the comments below. We really encourage you to do so. It makes it a lot more fun. All right, Michael Deeb, shout out to who's our sponsor? Who sponsors this show?
Godin Porsche of Las Vegas, the very first Porsche Classic partner in North America. Those guys are the experts. If you're looking for a classic Porsche and you don't want to hassle with the auction platforms, call our friends at Godin Porsche. Tell them the Bid Nerds sent you. They'll hook you up.
That is correct, sir. All right. What is today's most interesting car? Was that your first promo?
That was my first promo ever. My first
good
take,
job.
too.
Good job.
That was
nice
on the
work.
fly.
All right. Yeah.
I've been listening to you for 3 years, so I'm getting pretty good at it.
It's like in my sleep I say this. Okay. Today's most interesting car is truly an interesting one. It was a suggestion from one of our long-time fans. Buddha, a great guy. Had breakfast with him this weekend. We had a great drive out to the Overton run.
I am jealous. Oh, man, I wish Buddha was here to give him a big hug. What's up, Mike Myers? Thank you for the suggestion. So Buddha said to you, and he said to me, obviously, did you see Doug Demuro selling his RS2? What that means is the Cars and Bids platform is auctioning this stunning 1994 Audi RS2, never sold in this country. Audi calls the wagon the Avant, an Avant. So this is an RS2 Avant, and it turns out it's Doug Demuro's personal car. So, of course, he furnishes the car with one of his corny reviews, and he's running it, JP. Did you notice he's running it no reserve, which I think is pretty fascinating. For those of you who are not familiar, in the late 80s and the early 90s, Porsche made an 80 and a 90 on this platform. I forget what the platform is called in Audi B speak, but this is basically an Audi 80 wagon, but with a hopped up motor. So this is the first car that Audi gave the RS treatment to, and they enlisted the help of their friends at Porsche, which is very interesting. Certainly the brands are both owned by Volkswagen, but the technology sharing had never really officially or so overtly come across from city to city in Germany as it did on this car. So what you get for your money was a 2.2 liter inline 5 with a turbocharger. That means your car was fast. It made 315 horsepower and about 305 pound-foot of torque. All of that ran through Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system through a 6-speed manual transmission. The wheels on the car may look familiar, and that's because they're Porsche Cup 1 designed 17-inch wheels all around, and the Brembo brakes are the big reds that came on turbos from that era. These are basically Porsche 964 or 993 turbo big red brake calipers. The cars came with Recaro seats, and then, of course, they had their own bespoke bodywork. So the front end on this car, JP, I always thought was really pretty. That lower 3 grille design with the big opening in the front and the 2 openings on the side was really sporty from its day. And if the mirrors look familiar, JP, Doug Demuro lists them as 993 derived mirrors, but am I wrong in saying those are 964.2 mirrors? Which would be more congruent with the year of this car? Would you answer that question real quick?
I need to see them. Sorry, I haven't gotten to
sorry,
that on the picture. Oh, yeah. No, those are 993.
They're not 964.2s?
Man, maybe on the 964. I don't remember. I mean, those are the Aero mirrors.
Yeah.
So that's definitely.
I think it's the same mirror. Yeah,
I thought
and
all
that's
the
what he lists.
944s had flags. No, did they have the arrows?
Not 944, 964.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah. I don't remember 964s ever having arrows.
They did. The Dot 2s had upgraded mirrors, and the Dot 1s had the mirrors from the G body, and that's one of the distinctive differences. So, anyways, I'm going to go out on a limb on that one and say I think they're 964 mirrors, even if everybody calls them 993s. It's probably the same mirror. Anyway, that's basically it. Our car shows 158,000 kilometers, which is about 98,000 miles. The car moved from Japan to Canada, I think he said in like 2002, and then somebody brought it in. He's got it on a Massachusetts title, but Doug and the car live in San Diego. Really neat car, very rare in this country, although they are eligible to come in on the 25-year exemption. I don't know how easy or if it's even really possible to get the cars into California. I think you can, but it's not for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing or have somebody in their pocket that can help them do it. It's not an easy process. But I love seeing these cars on the road. There's a guy named Jen who lives up here in Northern California, and he's got a bunch of really cool cars. JP, Ben and I went on one of the driving while awesome things and rallies, and there was a dark blue one of these cars, like a midnight blue metallic RS2, and the car, he was just flogging it. The car was flying. They went flying by us all the time. They're fast. The cars really do move. They're really rare. They're a neat moment in time where Porsche helped Audi build a really special car, and Audi badged it RS2, and now the RS badge has lived on with Audi. So here you go, JP. Doug Demuro's RS2 Avant. I want to talk about the numbers, but I'll wait till you speak on the car. What do you think of this thing? I know we've covered a couple of them over the years that we've done the show, but I love this one in the Nogaro blue. What do you think?
Well, you're right about the mirrors. There's your RSA. That looks like the later generation of the 964 Aero mirrors. So there you go for all you super nerds out there.
Liberated.
Yes. Sorry, guys, here. I like this car. This car is a really cool car. We reviewed one fairly recently, and I can't remember what platform it was on. The thing.
I'll look.
The thing about this particular car is everything you talked about is great. How awesome would it be if you had a 964 in this color to have a matching Avant in your garage? That would be a super nerd thing to have. The problem with this car, honestly, is that the average Joe doesn't know what the heck it is. So if you're going to pay, these bring a premium, and they look like a $10 or $15 or $20,000, old Audi, and the old Audi wagons are kind of pieces of junk. Those old Audi 80s are pretty problematic. The Audi 80s and 90s. I've never driven one of these. I'd sure like to. A lot of electronic gizmos in there that would make me worry, but whatever. This would be a fantastic car. Who cares? You're not buying it for everyone else. You're buying it for you, right? If you've got the money and this thing brings you joy, it's going to be really cool. I don't see, with the amount of money that these things bring, there's a lot of other stuff that would be on my list before one of these. I do see the appeal to a certain extent, but it's just not that big a deal. I remember getting my doors blown off when I was in my C4S 996 on a drive up in Seattle back in the day, and having somebody just rip me on one of these. I'm going, what the hell? How did that happen? But that was back when these were $20,000 or something. I mean, these could be had for very little money relative to what they're bringing today. So
John,
let's get to it. What are they bringing now?
Yeah. Well, so really quickly, back in August, so this is not, I think we might have covered one more recently than this, but back in August of 22, we covered a 49,000 mile example that was all bright red and all black interior, and low miles. And it was on Bring a Trailer. And that car sold for $103,000. And you and I straddled that. You were at 99, I was at 110, so you won that one. But I feel like we covered a dark one more recently. Anyway, this car, JP, is pretty spectacular. It's coilovers and Doug got an updated clutch in there, and it looks really nice. It's a more modern steering wheel that's on the car. But it's interesting. Right now, JP, the car has 3 days left before it closes, and it's sitting at $85,000 on 35 bids. For a little context, most of Doug's cars get 5 to 10,000 views. This car has already had 120,000 views. So I thought you'd find those numbers pretty interesting while we're doing the metrics here. In my opinion, a 100,000 mile RS2 in this country is about an $80,000 to $85,000 car, and it's already sitting there. So every dollar this car gets from now on is the Doug Demuro premium. Do you know what I'm saying? And so with that in mind, my bid on this car is going to be $105,000. I think Doug's going to get 20 grand more than this car is worth because it's his, and because right now he's the man of the moment and his auction's getting all the views. He's already 120,000 views on the car, and the car's got 3 days left. That's 110,000 views more than he normally gets on any car. So this car is going to bring stupid money because it's his, and probably because it's bright blue. The photos look pretty good as well. But right now, where it sits as we're doing this, that's what the car is worth. So I don't know. I'm just going to go 105, and I just made up that number because it shouldn't bring that much, but it's going to.
Yeah. The fact that it's his car, it's essentially a celebrity-owned car.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy to say that he gets more? Was it Hoovie's Garage? We used to talk about, like, Hoovie's cars used to bring a couple dollars more because he covered them, but now Doug's going to get money. Oh.
This car is going to get so many eyeballs because he has a current video out on it, so it's going to get 3 million views from there, and that's going to draw people over to it. And he's going to talk about the fact that it's for sale on his platform and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Look, I think there is a softening in the market. We've talked about it on recent episodes. I'll say it again. Inflation is still a thing. It is causing issues when it comes to the sale of classic and collector cars. Fewer people have access to the larger amounts of money. There's a lot of money out there. There's still a lot of excess liquidity. But if you don't have a bunch of liquidity, you need to borrow. And if you need to borrow, that means you're going to have to pay quite a hefty interest rate on something for a classic car. All that said, this is Doug Demuro's car. I am bearish on everything, not this one. I'm going to go over on you. I'm going to go $110.
Wow, you mother chicken.
I think he brings it. I think the color is going to bring it too. I think this color is going to bring some extra bucks.
I'm going to change my bid to 115. I'm kidding.
Too late. All right, what do you guys think?
So 110. Yeah. 110. What's the minute mark? Damn it.
What do you guys think out there? Now's the time to play along. Put your bid in the comments below, and we're going to find out if you're better at predicting the results of auctions on Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer and all these auction sites. We're going to find out if you're better at it than us right after this. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godden Porsche of Las Vegas and Godden Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godden, this guy.
1989 linen gray metallic G50 cab.
Is that gonna be for sale?
It is gonna be for sale. The car only has 65,000 miles on it.
Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about, and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Godden Porsche of Las Vegas.
If you love watching car videos on YouTube, you gotta check out my channel, The Rami Show. Oh, this car! I am driving a 2020 Lamborghini SVJ. This car, watch this. Oh! 115 mile an hour turn like it's nothing.
Have you guys checked out the Rami Show yet? That's one of our sister channels. We sure have fun making that one. If you want to see weekly reviews, car reviews that are way more interesting than Doug Demuro's, check out the Rami Show. All right, welcome to the future, everyone. We are here to talk about the results of Doug Demuro's Audi RS2 Avant. But before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. Michael Deeb, what happened with the results of this pretty blue car?
Are you sitting down? Because this car sold. It was a no reserve auction. Of course it sold. It's a 1994 Audi RS2 Avant, Doug Demuro's personal car, on Cars and Bids, of course. 37 bids is what it took for the car to reach $92,000, well under both of our bids. JP, if you remember, I said $105,000, and interestingly, when we discussed the idea that Demuro is a bit of a celebrity and in the spotlight right now with that massive $37 million investment into his auction platform. You thought that his celebrity status would bring even more money than that, and you said $110,000. When we were looking at the car, and you can just rewind this episode a couple of minutes, the car was sitting at like 80 or 85,000, and I said that's where the value of the car should be. Like, this is basically an $85,000 car. And I said that all the money it gets from here on out is the Doug Demuro money, the celebrity-owned status money. And I really thought it would break $100,000. Well, it fell short at $92,000. I would say, and I would also thank our friend Mike Myers, Buddha, who submitted this car for us to examine. I talked to him after the result, and he agrees that $92,000 is more in line with the true value of the car and less about the fact that Doug Demuro owned it. So, JP, as you and I kind of outkicked our coverage, what do you think of that result? It doesn't seem like Demuro's ownership of this car had anything to do with any sort of premium as far as being paid. And then the other question I have for you, because the other thing that Mike Myers and I were nerding out on is that we both love the Nogaro blue. Now, I know your favorite color for cars, t-shirts, and jeans is black, but would you rock a Nogaro blue RS2 Avant?
Yeah, I think the color's fine. I mean, it's a great color, actually, and I don't think the color is what held this thing back. I think what's interesting, given the increase in profile that Doug Demuro's Cars and Bids site seems to be enjoying, what we are not seeing a change in is the fact that of all the sites, of all the auction sites that I can think, all the big ones, all the real ones, the actual contenders, P-Car Market, Bring a Trailer, even Marked, if you want to put them in that category. Cars and Bids is the most likely auction platform to stall out like the day before or even the day of. You just don't see these crazy rallies at the end of auctions. I was watching the end of some other auctions over the weekend over on BAT when we had the Time Machine on. And, there were, every car I watched saw 50, 60% increase from the day before. Meaning, like, if the auction ended on Friday, on Thursday, at the end of the day, Thursday, maybe the car was bid to $50,000 or $60,000, and then on Friday, in the last 10, 15 minutes, or even post end of the auction that just keeps rallying and rallying, goes for another half hour, and the car literally gets double the bid. So a $50,000 car on Thursday winds up going for $100,000 the next day. And I'm getting this question over and over again from friends and other people that I know that are shopping for cars and on these sites. And I don't know if you're getting this question too. Is how often do you get someone showing you on their phone, look at this, this fill in the blank car that I'm interested in is only at $30,000 today. Oh man, I got to get in on this, right? And then the next day, what happens? It goes up to 60 or more. That just doesn't happen on Cars and Bids. A lot of times, just the people that are looking, they'll bid the day before, and then the last day you'll maybe get a couple more bids. Sometimes none.
It's so weird. It's so true, and it is really a pattern of behavior that it's exclusively to Cars and Bids. They are, and maybe, John, the only thing I would assert into that dialogue is that he has the slowest clock with an L clock, in that when you put a bid in we're talking about when the auction is closing, the clock only resets for him. What is it? A minute, right? He's got the shortest timer. So it feels like, if that's too much of a flurry, then you just put your best foot forward the night before and you need to wait and see if you win it or not, which it's almost like a silent auction, whereas all the other ones have these big finishes at the end. And P-Car has a minute and a half and BAT has a 2-minute clock to make up your mind, reassess the value, and decide if you want to continue to play. Doug Demuro's things like, it's like the security at closing time. They're like, get out, like this auction's over.
Ugly lights are on, leave the bar.
Yeah. Totally. One more thing I want to add to this, John, that you were talking about the views, right? later this week, we're going to look at a Porsche on P-Car Market. Car's got about 3 days to close. It's got 895 views, right? Like almost 1,000 views. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Doug Demuro's RS2 last week that we looked at got 183,369 views. That is sensational. That is a lot of traffic.
How many views did his review of the car get over on YouTube? It's got to be in the couple million, right? So, I mean, I haven't actually looked, but most of his car reviews do tend to get in the millions of views, you know, 1 to 3 million views. So I got to imagine right now his views are probably a little higher given his raise in
so he has 2 different views on the car. So he has one about selling the car on his site. That one got 303,000 views, and at the moment Doug has 4.6 million subscribers. And then I'm just going to jump back, John, and hit this other button and hit YouTube and see what his the original review of this car got 1.6 million views. So you're correct. When he has a thing on there, and that was 2 years ago when he bought the car and he reviewed it, he got 1.6 million views since then. So you're right on the money with your numbers. God, he's popular. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it forever, and you know his car reviews. Say what you will about them, they get people watching, and they are incredibly informative. If they are horribly, they are as informative as they are poorly aesthetic. Or aesthetically poor. Whatever the correct grammar on that one is. But whatever, it works for him, and why fix something that isn't broken? I am surprised. I thought this car would really get pushed over the top and bring not just a small premium, but a really, really, really big premium. It's, the color is great and everything, but I guess there's only so many people that want this car.
Right. And I agree. I agree with you on that. But I also thought, like this car with the miles and the blue seat inserts, to me, it's just not quite $100,000 car. But I thought because it was his and he's selling it on his own platform and everybody's watching, 200,000 people were watching, I thought it would break 100 grand. So I was kind of surprised by the result, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, JP. This is the only lot I won this week, so I'll take it. Bam.
All right. Well, there you go. You're spoiling the lead on the other episodes there, but that's okay. Yeah. Everybody knows that I always win. Anyway, guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe, like, or notification button, please do so now. We sure love seeing you guys comment in the video down below. It's great. I mean, I've said this before in other episodes. How many times have we looked at the comments after a video is published and gone, yeah, man, that's a really good take. Ross Churchhouse, or somebody, one of our fans out there says something, some kind of information that I didn't know about the car, or you didn't know about the car, and I'm like, that would have made the show better, and maybe people would actually watch more. So I don't know. Maybe we need to get some of our fans and commenters to come on the show and replace us. What do you think of that, dude?
Yeah, we can just start doing the show live and then have everybody just chime in the comments. That'd be great. But yeah, maybe for a Rensport reunion, we could do a live Bid Nerds in Monterey and have all the nerd herd that's, on California, the West Coast, or Vegas, come out and join us, and they can bark at us if we do a live show. That'd be pretty cool.
I definitely see live episodes coming in the future. Nerd herd out there, nerd fans, Nerd Nation, we need to spread the word and grow that herd for lives to actually kind of make sense. But we do anticipate bringing the live format back at some point, and then, include super chats and stuff like that. That would be a lot of fun with people hanging out. But we do kind of need a certain amount of people regularly in order for that to be dynamic enough to be fun for everyone else. So let's keep spreading the word, everyone. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for watching the show, and we will see you tomorrow on Bid Nerds.
Nerd!
Get those nerds!